Hello and good evening, our beloved viewers. It's 9 p.m. You are watching on live RTD channel. Welcome to this English news edition. Today's headlines are the following. The head of state chaired the third session of the Council of Ministers. A renewed partnership despite differences about AU and African Union summit. Those were the top stories. Thanks for joining us in our newsroom. Under the leadership of the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, the Council of Ministers held today, Tuesday, February 22, its third session. During the session of Council of Ministers were approved a number of legal projects. Let's listen to the government spokesperson.
Sous la présence de son Excellence M. Ismail Omar Guelleh, président de la République, chef du gouvernement, a eu lieu ce mardi 22 février 2022 la troisième séance du Conseil des ministres.
First edition, a bill on the protection and promotion of the rights of persons with disabilities. The purpose of the bill is to protect and promote the rights of persons with disabilities. Indeed, our country has made significant progress over the past 10 years in the promotion and defense of the rights of persons with disabilities and has ratified almost all the international instruments relating to the protection and promotion of human rights. This bill also specifies the various rights to be enjoyed by persons with disabilities and also defines the modalities to guarantee their effective enjoyment through the commitments that the state has made to improve the integration of this category of the population into society and facilitate their socio-economic condition. This modification of the 2018 legislative text is part of the actions planned by the National Disability Strategy. Second issue, bill approving the financial accounts of the International Hydrocarbons Company of Djibouti for the 2019 financial year. The 2019 financial accounts are closed in income at 31 billion and in expense at nearly 30.7 billion and show a profit of 260 million francs. The SIHD achieved a sales volume of 263,518 MT. This financial year was marked by reduction in the cost of interveners by almost half compared to the previous year. In 2019, the SIHD carried out a revision of the tariff structure which mainly affected diesel. All these key measures undertaken have enabled the institution to pursue its sound management and perfect control of its financial stability to enable it to pursue its development program throughout the entire chain of oil activity. Third issue, bill approving of the financial accounts of the International Hydrocarbons Company of Djibouti for the year 2020. The financial accounts are closed in income at 19.8 billion and in expenditure at 19.3 billion and show a result of more than 563 million francs. The SIHD achieved a sales volume of 251,507 MT in 2020 in a context of a drop in the price of barrel of Platts, consequences of COVID. The drop in volumes combined with a drop in surge and offloading costs resulted in an increase in the result compared to the 2019 financial year. Despite the global health crisis, SIHD continued its diversification program across the entire oil business chain, both upstream and downstream, particularly in the transportation, storage and refining of the petroleum products.
Pour objet la création des comités en charge de l'organisation et du suivi du symposium de la santé, qui a pour mission de fixer les objectifs, les résultats, les méthodologies retenues pour le symposium, identifier les différentes étapes du symposium et mobiliser les moyens et se mettre au terme de l'exercice un rapport du symposium. L'adoption de ce projet permettra de garantir le succès de la mise en œuvre du symposium de la santé.
The second part of the Council of Ministers were approved a number of legal project details with my colleague Dini Moussa.
Communication. En fin de séance, le ministre de l'Intérieur a fait une communication sur la préparation des élections régionales et communales et indique que le processus d'organisation des élections régionales et communales est bien avancé et que le premier tour du scrutin est prévu le vendredi 11 mars 2022. Il précise que le nombre de bureaux de vote reste identique à celui du découpage électoral de 2021, donc égal à 529 bureaux de vote.
Fourth question, draft order creating committees in charge of organizing and monitoring the health spectrum. In 1999, Law Number 48/N/99 on the orientation of health policy marked a historic turning point in the organization of the health system. This ensured the right to health and is based on the fundamental principles of equity, justice, solidarity, participation of the population and civil society. It is in this dynamic that our country has adopted a strategic framework for health development. In the form initially of a 10-year development master plan for the period 2022 and 2011, and then of 5 consecutive national development plan from 2022 to 2020. In 2014, the President of the Republic launched one of the most ambitious and emblematic reforms of his social policy, universal health insurance. By setting up this instrument, the head of state wanted to reactivate the chain of national solidarity and lay the foundations of what will allow us to begin the complete and in-depth overhaul of our health system. And this in order to discuss and bring about major reforms with a view to achieving universal health coverage by 2030. The adoption of this project will ensure the successful implementation of the health symposium. At the end of the session, the Minister of the Interior makes a communication on the preparation of the regional and communal elections and indicates that the process for organizing the regional and communal elections is well advanced and that the first ballot is scheduled for Friday, 11th March. He specifies that the number of polling stations remains identical to that of the electoral division of 2021 is equal to 529. He also recalled, in accordance with the regulatory text, the electoral list is that of 2021 with a number of 215,687 voters. He points out that the lists were submitted and closed at the levels of the various prefectures on February 5th. In addition, he underlines that all the arrangements have been made for an efficient and transparent organization of the ballot. The Minister of Muslim Affairs and Waqf Property reported on his participation in the 32nd International Conference of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, which was held from February 12 to 13, 2022 in Egypt. The Minister of Youth and Culture reported on the National Week of the Artist and Mother's Tongue, which took place from February 13 to 21, 2022. The objective of the week were to promote artists and their arts, support artists, recognize the value of mother tongues, and identify the perils that dangerously threaten them, and detect and support young talents and all arts.
Reconnaître la valeur des langues maternelles, identifier les périls qui les menacent dangereusement et détecter et appuyer les jeunes talents dans tous les arts. Au cours de la Semaine nationale de l'artiste et des langues maternelles, plusieurs activités ont été réalisées, notamment une exposition photographique rétrospective des artistes et des arts de la scène des années 40-50 jusqu'à 1980. 2 conférences sur les théâtres et contes, comptines et légendes, et des activités culturelles et de promotion des langues maternelles ont également eu lieu. Je vous remercie.
The last stage of his shuttle tour of the interior region, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed traveled yesterday Monday to the city of Arta, accompanied by a large delegation composed of several members of the government, including the Minister of Interior Saeed Noor Hassan and the Minister of State in charge of decentralization, Mr. Qasim Harun. On its arrival in the city of Arta, the Prime Minister's convoy was received by the authorities of the region, led by the governor of the region, Mr. Mohammed Sheikho, an official of the region, and a large masses of population of Arta region. The purpose of the government delegation's visit to the region of Arta was to hold a consultative meeting with the local to shed light on the living condition of the citizens living in the region of Arta and sub-district of Arta region, as well as to discuss ways and means to strengthen the security and stability in the region. After that, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed held a meeting with the local authorities of Arta region and to discuss with them about the economic, social, and security condition in the region. He also held another meeting with the notables and dignitaries of Arta region and a representative of civil society to listen carefully to inform them of the condition of the service in the region and their observations of the reality of service in various aspects. The meeting witnessed a series of interventions by members of the government which focus on the government's desire to strengthen social and economic development in all all internal, regional, alongside to the economic growth experience of the Republic of Djibouti in recent year in implementation of the policy of President Gili and aiming for global development by the 2035 by 2035 coming years. In a statement, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed made a statement to the media, which he began by extending his sincere thanks and appreciation to the civil and military authorities as well as the people for the warm reception. The Prime Minister said that this visit focused entirely and emphasizing the government its keenness of enhanced social and economic development in all internal regions and parallel with the economic growth witnessed by the Republic of Djibouti in the recent year in implementation of the policy of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Malgili, who aim at the comprehensive development by the 2035 vision, conclude the Prime Minister. At the end of the visit, the Prime Minister and his accompanying delegation carry out the process of planting trees in an area of income aimed at protecting the environment and combating desertification and drought, and motivating the community of the region of Arta to donate to support and charitable work in the field of the forestations and the development of vegetation's cover. This initiative aims to increase the green area, reduce the effect of desertification, encourage the community member to contribute to the forestations project of raise awareness on the importance of the vegetation cover in the environment and improving the climate in Arta region. And now, within the framework of the policy of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margili, relating to the decentralization, the Minister of Justice and the prisons authorities in charge of human rights, Mr. Ali Hassan Badon, went yesterday Monday to the city of Unity, Dakhel region, the capital, to launch the process of decentralization in the file of justice in the southern region. The high-level delegation include the prefect of Dakhel region, prosecutors of the president, the prosecutors, court, and the first instance, the Minister of Justice, the prisons authorities, and the head of human rights, together with his accompanying delegation, were received by the authorities of the region of Dakhel, including the governor of Dakhel region, Mr. Adan Musa Darar, and the head of the local council, Abdurrahman Yunis Are. The creation of a new court of the interior region will undoubtedly contribute to the strengthening of the rules of law throughout the country. After the reception, the Minister Ali Hassan Bahdon held a meeting with the authorities during which he discussed the social condition of the region in its sub-district and followed by the need of the people of the region. It should be noted that the economic and social development requires an efficient and transparent judicial system serving all citizens under the rules of law. This project is part of a program implemented by the United Nations Development Program with the government of Djibouti to pave the way for sustainable development. In his speech, the Minister Hassan Ali Hassan Bahdon, he recalled the purpose of this jail and said at this point it was the venue that the chairman proposed to temporarily settle the court, which was the subject of my delegation is evaluation tribe, with showed how satisfied it was. In fact, the president was chosen to temporarily install the Southern Court in a private venue in its kind, and it is in the building that has being personally founded by the president and in the intended to welcome listening to the great justice, not said custom. After the meeting, the ministerial delegation visits the headquarters of an authority of an authorized office in the city of Dakhel region, and the minister and his accompanying delegation receive clarification on the operation of the office by the authorized person, reviewing the difficulties and challenges facing in the office. After that, the delegation made an inspection tour of the prison. It was yesterday, Sunday morning, the People's Palace, hosted under the high patronage of the Minister of Youth and Culture, Ms. Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowi, the launch of the National Culture Forum. The representative from several ministries, experts from the Ministry of Youth and Culture, as well as NGOs, local elect, trade union movement, eminent personalities, young students, and lover of culture and the art participated in this forum. This forum falls within the framework of the activities in the National Arts and Mother Language Week launched by the Ministry of Youth and Culture. The forum is the culmination of intensive exchange throughout the week. In her speech, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Momin Asowi, recalled the objective of the week, which is to value, she said, the artists and their art, to support artists, and to recognize the value of mother language and identity of perils that threaten them dangerously, and detect and support young talent in arts during the National Week of Artists in the Mother Language. Several activities, she said, were carried out, including a retrospective photograph exhibition of artists in the performing and art forms, and also to the conference on theaters and Taylor's nursery rhythm and cultural activities, but also to promote the mother language, conclude the minister. The ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to Morocco, Mr. Mohamed Tahir, present a copy of his credential letters to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, African Cooperation, and Moroccans residing abroad, Mr. Nasser, as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Djibouti to Morocco. During this meeting, the minister and the Djiboutian ambassador discussed the close and brotherly relation between the two brotherly countries. They also reiterate their desire to work and enhance ways and means to develop cooperation relation between the two brotherly countries. In turn, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, African Cooperation, and Moroccan residing abroad, Mr. Nasser, welcomed the ambassador of Djibouti and ensured him of his readiness of his country's government to provide him with the necessary support and facilities to enable him and carry out the diplomatic mission of the bilateral relation of the two countries. Following a directive form of a high command of Djiboutian army forces, and he made a declaration, and he said, "My capacity as a commander-in-chief of the Djiboutian Navy, I have the honor to announce the official launch of Operation Gashan, during which the Navy will deploy the need and fleet. It is therefore the implementation of a new workshop that have strengthened our surveillance and intervention capabilities. This follows a series of a training session that have taken place since the acquisition of the new equipment. The ultimate objective of this exercise is the demonstrate our base and defense capabilities in order to ward off any enemy's action that could harm the interests of our country in the field of maritime transport. All these devices will allow us our know-how and the knowledge elements having taken part in the previous training. On this occasion, I would like to thank the head of state and Supreme Chief of the Army Forces, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, the Minister of Defense and Chief of General Staff of the Army Forces, for their unwavering support. During this cold period in Ali Sabih region, the National Society of the Djibouti Red Crescent branch of Ali Sabih has carried out operation to distribute blankets and mosquito nets to protect the vulnerable population of the city of Ali Sabih. The hundreds of most vulnerable and elderly people have benefit from distribution of kits made up of blankets and mosquito nets with the insecticide. These kits distributions operation took place in the presence of the president and vice president of the regional council of Ali Sabih region, and as well as the volunteer of the growing branch of Ali Sabih region. And now moving on to the international scenes. The 6th AU and African Union summit conclude today in Brussels with the adoption of a joint declaration on a common vision for the year 2030 that seeks to strengthen a renewed partnership for solidarity, security, peace, and sustainable development. As Africa set sail on the future, the European Union wants to be Africa its partners of choice. This is basically the summary of this summit. For this, indeed, it means remaining an economic partners, and the European Union is the first trading partners and the first investor in the Africa, and therefore it is to consider that the first regional plan under our big investment strategy, global gateway. It is Africa Europe planned with more than euros 150 billion of investment, he said. This is it for this edition. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful evening.